Welcome back to my channel. I'm Toby. Uh, it's good to be back. I've been away for over a year, believe it or not. I do want to apologize. I mean, life can get pretty busy sometimes, but I'm here to finish what I started, and stick around and enjoy. Wherever you're watching from, welcome. And as you can see, the chassis of the truck is done, and it's time to get it painted. Everything that should be there is there for now, and everything is in order. And for those of you who haven't been watching since the beginning of this project, this truck is 100% made by hand. Yeah, so the frame rails or the chassis rails are aluminum, and everything else, which is everything in white, is made from styrene plastic. The only things that I didn't make from scratch on this project are the wheels. In the last video, I mentioned that I was going to make the gearbox in this video, but I didn't. The thing is, I actually made the gearbox at work, in the office. I had a little grocery bag that I was working from whenever I had free time. So unfortunately, I didn't capture anything. Now, if you look at the engine from this angle, you may realize that the bell housing and the crankshaft does not seem to line up properly. The reason for that is that the input shaft in this particular gearbox is Bluetooth connected, and it has absolutely nothing to do with me not paying attention to what I was doing. The cab or the hood of the truck is not yet done, but take a look at this right here. That is a mixture of super glue and baking soda, which works perfectly as a kind of filler. But I'm pretty sure that it grew fungus from being unpainted for such a long time. Oxidization, if you will. And this is why you may want to avoid organic products when it comes to projects like this. Unless, of course, you use the right chemicals to treat and seal them. So in this video, I'm going to be painting the chassis and the engine. But before we start painting anything, I'm going to be showing you how I made the shock absorbers and the brake chambers. Well, there ain't much else to show you about the shock absorbers because they're pretty much done. My apologies. Wherever you're watching from, welcome. If a Jamaica you watch from, big up yourself because you don't know man a yard man. You see it, I hope everything good. I just hope say everything alright in your house. I just hope say you have food on the table. And I just hope say you live good with the neighbor and thing, you see me? And I hope say your neighbor goat them not eat off the leaf them off of the sweet pepper tree them where you plant. Yo, I know but stay them at the sun burn you out too much, you see me I say? Because I don't know the sun at Jamaica already. But if you have you out there night still, stay hydrated and cover up, you know, take care of yourself. Don't know a thing already. And now it's time for the brake chambers. You know, it's really amazing what you can achieve with just a little bit of creative thinking. Whatever your occupation is, there are going to be times when you have to make new things or create new ways to make your job easier. After I made all the pieces for the brake chambers, I put them together using MEK, or you could use super glue, it works just the same. And there you have it. It is now time to lay on some primer. Now, as you can see, I have some silver paint from Rust-Oleum and some adhesion promoter. This is the paint I use to prime styrene plastic. It contains acetone, therefore giving it phenomenal adhesion to the styrene plastic. Just about any paint that contains MEK and or acetone works just fine. The adhesion promoter is for the aluminum rails on the chassis. It's not something I needed, but I had some, so I use it. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and wash all the parts with alcohol. This is just to get rid of the grease, the fingerprints, and all the contaminants. Anything that would prevent the paint from sticking properly. There are a few imperfections and rough edges and superglue residue here and there. I chose to leave them to add to the overall realistic look when I'm done. This is the adhesion promoter, and I'm just trying to cover the entire surface once. Then I flipped it over and did the same thing. And then I did 2 coats of silver. I started out with a very light coat to cover the entire surface, and then another, and another, and another. With an object this small, you don't want to be piling on the paint too much. You want to try to preserve the small details and not cover them up with the paint. Wherever you're watching from, I hope you're okay. I really hope you're doing well. It's been over a year since I've posted anything, man. Man, that's a long time. 2023 was a busy year for me. I had to be going back and forth, working, trying to take care of my bills and save some money. Working on my car, doing upgrades, replacing parts and fixing things. I've even been to 8 different states last year. I even went to Florida for the first time in 14 years. Yeah, the weather kind of reminded me of being back home in Jamaica. It was good to be away from New York City for a few days. It was good to know that I didn't have to deal with the heavy traffic on the Grand Central for a while. But after a great trip, it was good to finally come back home to my friends and my family and my dogs. You know, it's a good thing to have healthy friendships and relationships. You know, man, it's a blessing. And sometimes we don't even get to enjoy these relationships in person. Sometimes it's over the phone or the computer. But it still counts, you know, still counts. Now this looks like it was made out of aluminum. I mean the whole thing, because the frame rails are already aluminum. Man, I just can't wait to take this truck for a ride around the block. It's coming on nicely. I actually have a good feeling about this project. And believe it or not, this is actually the very first thing I've ever made out of styrene plastic. Well, I mean the very first project. I'm really liking how this paint lays down. I've been using it for years and I've never been disappointed. It works really well every time. And for the base color, I'm just going to be using some semi-gloss black. I'd never imagined that I would have people from all over the world watching me using a rattle can to paint pieces of plastic. Isn't that amazing? That is how I'm gonna laugh when I start making money. I can be dumb sometimes. Hey, you. You're watching me. Thanks for watching me paint with a rattle can. And then some beige paint for the engine. Old NTC 400 Cummins. And here it is the next day. Everything looks nice and even. Yeah, by the way, the transmission is going to be black too. Yeah, I just haven't done it as yet. And now it's time to move to the next step, which is weathering. And feel free to like, dislike, share, subscribe. And once again, thanks for watching and see you next time.